like anime.
You like anime? You never watched One Piece?
I can't believe this guy's
freak.
Says he likes anime.
You've never watched One Piece?
Oh my god,
You never watched One Piece?
Alright, I'll watch it, and I'll tell you my honest thoughts without any spoilers whatsoever. But more importantly, I'm gonna go over what watching 1,100 episodes of something straight over the course of 2 years did to my psyche.
Alright, so anybody who knows me knows that I'm a total weeb, but whenever somebody would ask me if I'd ever seen One Piece, my immediate reaction would always be something along the lines of, hell no, that's like 1,000 hours, that's way too long. Then they'd usually say something crazy like, no, it's not, you don't even have to see the dozen or so movies, so like, if you just watch 10 episodes every single day without fail, you'll be caught up in a little over 3 months. Like, as much as I like anime, I like other things too, even as far as entertainment and my spare time's concerned. I mean, seriously, in the amount of time it'd take to get caught up on One Piece, I could watch like 30 other anime, so is it really that good? Well, as the years went on, the hype never seemed to die down, which made me more and more curious as time went on. Not only that, but catching up with this series is only becoming more and more daunting. I mean, I've been to Japan like 13 times since 2013, and every single time I've ever been there, I'd always seen different anime and manga come and go with their time in the spotlight, but the only franchise that I'd always see in the very top was One Piece. So then one day I decided, alright, I watch it for a little bit and see how it goes, but since it's way too long, I'm gonna do it with the English dub while I'm doing eBay work at home. I mean, I still paid attention just fine, but I wasn't ready to 100% invest into it just yet. Then after around like 50-ish episodes in, I was like, oh, that's neat. But even though I did consider myself to be a fan at this point, I kinda just put it on the back burner for a while. I didn't dislike it, but I wasn't exactly hooked or anything like that either. I mean, again, there's tons of anime out there that are only like 25 episodes long, and at the end of them, you always feel like you've seen the characters go through so much. Meanwhile, after 50 episodes of One Piece, though, it felt like the gang was barely still at the beginning of their journey, and like, yeah, it was fun up until that point, but if you were watching this while you were trapped in some kind of a bomb shelter and had no way of looking at the episode number, you'd know that you got a long way to go. But even then, I highly doubt you'd guess you have over 1,000 episodes left. Since I did know how long I had to go through though, I just wasn't in any kind of a rush to finish the journey. Then a few months later I decided,
oh, what the hell? I guess so.
And decided to pick it back up. Then in episode 66 I saw Zoro beating all the Baroque work agents' asses, and I decided I was gonna switch to Japanese and pay full attention from that point forward. I guess I was really just noticing all the characters supported each other, or really just the theme of friendship and camaraderie. Or, you know, maybe taking a break from the series helped, but after this, I didn't stop watching anything else till I was fully caught up. Obviously, I wouldn't watch that much of something unless I loved it, but it was definitely pretty fucked to watch almost nothing else during that entire time. I kept telling myself I was gonna get to a stopping point, and then an arc would end, and I'd just watch 1 or 2 more episodes just to have an idea where the story was going next, and then what do you know, I'm hooked and had to keep watching more. Not only did I want to keep watching just to see what was gonna happen next, but I was also paranoid I was gonna find spoilers somewhere by accident. Like, I jumped on the bandwagon and became a huge fan of this hyper-popular anime, but I couldn't actually dive into any rabbit holes or learn trivial facts about it, because I would literally turn my head or drop my phone entirely if I saw a picture of anything One Piece related. Even then, I still caught some spoilers that ruined some key events in the series. Obviously, I'm gonna avoid spoiling exactly what those were here, but one was pretty significant around the middle of the series, and I had it spoiled like at the beginning of that arc too. So the entire time I was watching it, I knew exactly where it was gonna end up. I'd still watch movies and play video games during all this time, but I never really looked at any other anime or TV shows just because of the massive undertaking I'd already committed to. I was pretty much out of the loop on everything for a few years, but I knew that I liked what I was in the middle of, so I disrupt that just to watch something else. Besides, it's nice to let things pile up as opposed to watching episodes as they come out one by one, and once I finally did catch up on One Piece, it was nice to know that I had so many other shows waiting for me. But the reason why I brute force through over 1,100 episodes of One Piece, though, really comes down to the characters more than anything else. Just like Hirohiko Araki's book, Manga in Theory and Practice states, One Piece prioritizes characters, story, themes, and settings in that order. And there's lots of attention to detail to pretty much everything. Look, I'm not trying to pretend like everything that ever happens in One Piece is 10 out of 10 masterpiece material or anything like that. For example, I hate the fact that there's at least 15 instances where the Straw Hats would have failed if it weren't for sheer luck working in their favor. I'm sure there's gonna be some kind of a meaning to this at some point, but I friggin' hate it. But even though there's still that and a lot of other flaws too, this story gets so much right. Just about every single character in this entire world is so interesting and memorable, whether you think they're cool, funny, or whatever. There isn't one single member of the Straw Hats that I don't love, not just like, but love. I really like how every character has their own motivation as opposed to the entire crew sharing one same goal. Like, they do share the same goal that they want to help each other succeed, and like I said before, they all bring their own unique purpose to the table, making even the weakest Straw Hat crucial to the entire crew's success. Seriously, if any one of them didn't join, the crew would never have made it as far as they did, and I don't know, I think that's kind of nice. I like it. As much as I love Dragon Ball, most of the characters become pretty useless at a certain point, but they just keep them around just because most of the time. Which is nice, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I still prefer it when everybody at least had something to do, especially when it's something that even the strongest protagonists can't do. The story's something you're either gonna like or not like depending on your taste, but even if you're not into some arcs as much as others, it's always fun to see the characters just being themselves. Not just the Straw Hats either, I mean like anybody with an actual name. Bonus points if they have a unique laugh. Then of course there's the themes, like freedom, friendship, dreams, ambition, corruption, and even more which are easy to relate to, but my god, the settings in this anime are really top tier here, with every island they visit being so different and unique, which always keeps the show feeling fresh and makes it really hard to voluntarily take breaks to watch something else. I mean, I'm always wanting to see where they go next, and all these different islands really build a fascinating world with endless potential. In fact, it's why the movies and even filler episodes work so well, because in a world with endless possibilities and potential, you could easily tell a non-canon story on some random island and have it be fun and really worth watching. But yeah, it's a ton of fun always coming home to what feels like endless new episodes of One Piece, but eventually you do catch up, and when you do, holy hell is it frustrating to see how slow the pacing of the show really is. You never really notice it when you have like 600 episodes to go, but god, it sucks. You see, I actually caught up with the series a little while before making this video around episode 1050-ish, which is right around the climax of something that had been building for literally 482 episodes, making the slow pacing that much more excruciating to endure. For whatever reason, I was pretty sure that arc would at least finish up before I was caught up, but god. Zooming through like 95% of it and then having to wait and watch like 2 minutes per week of new content? Alright, that's an exaggeration. It's like 6 minutes of new content every episode, but still, it sucks. I know the pacing's notoriously slow all the way through, and like, it doesn't really bother me more often than not, especially when it feels like you're never gonna run out of episodes. But trust me, you really, really feel it when you watch 1 episode per week with this anime. Like, when I was in the middle of all that crazy stuff going on around 1050, I wanted to yell at the TV during the extra long recaps and drawn out flashbacks, because I knew I only had a few episodes left till I was caught up. I mean, I was freaking desperate for the series to catch up before I had to wait a week in between episodes. Especially when most of the recaps are stuff that I saw like 3 episodes ago. I'm not even kidding. It's not even like I'm that impatient or anything like that. It's just that it's burning through the episode time, and I know that I'm not really gonna see that much of the story move forward. You know what, that just makes me glad I waited so long to watch One Piece in the first place, because I can't imagine having to sit through some of the previous arcs at 1 episode per week. Specifically episodes 326 to 376 to avoid spoilers. Since I was so late to the bandwagon, though, I just got to enjoy everything without any interruptions. And like, I do get that a lot of people probably hate me for saying that, because a lot of fans like to watch 1 episode at a time and discuss them, but personally, I enjoy stories way more when I can binge them all at once. Because that way everything's fresh in my head whenever I'm watching, at least with a story as long as One Piece anyway. And at the time of this recording, the anime's on a bit of a hiatus, because apparently after over 2 decades, Toei finally decided to cut the shit on the slow pacing and rushing episodes out. But maybe when the hiatus is over, it'll be the same old pacing and this video is gonna feel outdated. I don't know, that's just what I heard. Either way, it gave me time to make this video, and because of the hiatus and the fact that the series is supposedly approaching the beginning of the end, I'd say that now's probably the best time to get into One Piece if you've ever been thinking about it. Because not only are you gonna be able to enjoy the majority of the series without any interruptions or breaks, but by the time you're caught up, you'll probably be closer to the end and be able to join in on all the hype, hopefully with better pacing to make the weekly episodes feel less excruciating. Then again, I'm pretty sure Netflix is reanimating the entire series without all the shitty pacing, so I don't know, maybe you should wait for that.
But anyway, that's all for today, but let me know what you think about One Piece in the comments, whether you watched it or not, or whether you plan to. And if you did, then what did it do to your psyche if you watched it all in one go like I did? If you like this video though, then you should check out my other video I made where I go over which stand users from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure could beat Goku, but you'll excuse me though, I gotta go finish Dino Crisis so I can justify wearing this shirt. Later!